Hello, Taurus. My name is Agatha, and this is a timeless tarot reading. This reading is about you and your romantic soulmate. What you need to know about you and your romantic soulmate. I cannot give you timing in terms of this reading, so I don't know if you already met him or her, or if you didn't, when will you meet him or her? I have no idea when that will happen. Okay, so this is a timeless reading. Whenever you encounter this video, it is exactly when you needed to encounter this video. This is going to be a 10 card spread in which I'm using the Celtic Cross spread, a 10 card reading. And what else? I'm gonna do this little by little, so please be patient until all the readings are out. And this is for the ones who have the Sun in Taurus, the Moon in Taurus, the rising sign in Taurus, or Venus in Taurus. Okay, if you have any of those planets in Taurus, then, or luminaries, then this reading is for you. Another thing, if you like something similar for you, I can do a similar reading for you for $25 US. Okay, so now before we start, I would like for you to pick one of these 3 cards, and at the end of the video I'll tell you the meaning of these cards. So the cards are house, man, or garden. Pick one of those: house, man, or garden. And at the end of the video I'll tell you the meaning of them. Plus, if you'd like your own personal reading, please write to dunyazade@gmail.com and I'd be delighted to work with you. So let's see, Taurus. Let's see. You and your romantic soulmate. What you need to know about you and your romantic soulmate. Okay. And this is the Star Tarot, by the way. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So gotta remember these ones, okay, at the end. So let me take a moment to look at the cards to see how many Major Arcana cards you have. You have one Major Arcana card. Okay, it's interesting. So maybe for about 10% of you, this is a very relevant reading. It depends. Okay. Again, stay for the ending when I'll tell you the meaning of these 3 cards. So, Taurus, you have as a central issue, or the central theme, you have the King of Swords. So this might represent the one who is your soulmate. For instance, this might represent the theme, or this might represent the person. Or this might represent even you. So you might have, for instance, the Sun in Taurus, but you also might have something very relevant in your natal chart in air signs. For instance, you can have the Moon in Libra, you can have the rising sign in Aquarius, you can have like several planets in Aquarius. So there might be, or something in Gemini also. Gemini, which is the following sign. So you might have like the Venus in Gemini, for instance. You might have the Sun in Taurus and the Venus in Gemini, or for instance, or the Mars in Gemini, because I'm looking at this sword. The King of Swords might represent a man or a woman, because this is a very general reading, from an air sign, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, in his or her late 30s or after the age of 40. This is a very detached sort of person, okay? Kind of cold emotionally, someone who rationalizes feelings someone to whom intelligence is extremely important, you know. Someone who tries to take the high ground when analyzing love. Someone who takes like a very lucid, rational, logical approach to love. Now this could represent you. This could represent your possible soulmate, your possible romantic soulmate, Taurus. This also might represent the type of relationship that you'd like to have, or the type of relationship that you are meant to have with this soulmate person. A relationship which is much more emotionally detached, where you use your mind and you use your logic and you don't confide so much in your heart, maybe because your heart has led you in a bad path, for instance, before. Now this could also represent the person, like I said, and this person might be in the military, because I'm looking at the sword. He or she might be in the military, or you might be in the military, or your soulmate or you might be connected with job-related careers, that are connected with the law. You know, you could be a lawyer, you could be a judge, a prosecutor, a policeman, policewoman, army person. So anything connected in those connected with those careers. This guy, it's interesting. I'm seeing now. He seems to have like the blue eyes. He seems to have blue eyes. The guy that I'm looking at, and the hair is dark brown. So he or she might have those features. He or she might be a little dark, not too much, but you know, blue eyes with dark brown hair. Another thing, this card also speaks of contracts, so maybe you might marry this person. Okay. Now that which is yet not seen, you have the Seven of Cups. So Seven of Cups speaks of possibilities, speaks of choices and making the right choice, and not being led astray by the wrong choice. I'm looking at this is, to me, this is the Dove of Peace in the card, and below there's the Four Cups, and above there's the Three Cups. The Three Cups above seem to be the better cups because they have the star on them, and they seem to be filled. They seem to be filled with stars themselves, though the last cups also seem to be filled with stars. But it's like you have many choices available to you. I would say maybe the other person has, maybe your soulmate has many choices available, but only a few are good ones. Okay, so maybe this trusting, not the heart, but trusting the mind and logic is necessary for you or for the other person to make the right choices in terms of your love life, in terms of your, of being together. So it's like maybe there's a lot of people available to you, but you need to make a rational choice. You need to make a rational choice, and you need to not to be led astray by illusions. Okay. Now, this next card is in the position of the root, the causes. You have the King of Wands, which is interesting, another king. How many kings do you have? You have two kings. The King of Wands. The King of Wands might represent a man or a woman, because this is a very general reading, from a fire sign, Leo. And I would say Leo because here there are two lions. Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. In his or her late 30s or after the age of 40. Now this guy, he has blonde hair, red hair, and his eyes, I don't know if you can see it, but his eyes seem to be light, it's like amber or light brown. No, light brown. Amber-like eyes. And he seems to, I don't know if he's black, he seems to be black. But this guy, it's a king, okay? So all of this tells me that whomever your soulmate is, there seems to be, there might be marriage, you might marry him or her, but there's like a quality of staying power. It's not someone who appears and then disappears and leaves your life. It's not like that. This is someone who's very passionate, who's very charismatic. He's a leader. The King of Swords is also a leader of some kind. Creative person, has leadership abilities. He or she might be very stubborn, you know, might be a bit possessive also. So also another thing that I'm getting, no, not, he doesn't have anger issues like what I'm seeing, but he's possessive and he's protective of those he loves. So I would say that this is the type of relationship that you'd like to have, or this is the type of relationship that you might have with him or her, with your romantic soulmate. Like a passionate type of relationship, a relationship that will endure anything, that will have staying power. But there's an element of possessiveness. Now, it could be from him, or it could be from you, or it can be from both of you. And you are Taurus, you're a fixed sign, so I'm not surprised at all if you are possessive as well, because Taurus can be a bit possessive. So there's an element of possessiveness. And maybe one is more than the other, because I'm looking at the two lions. One lion is looking at the other lion, and one lion is like roaring or, you know, making a bad face. It's being a bit more hostile to the other lion. So maybe one of you is a bit more possessive than the other, I would say. And one is more easygoing, I would say. Taurus is easygoing as long as no one messes with Taurus, you know. Taurus wants to take it easy. Maybe Leo is a bit more aggressive sometimes. So you'd like to have a passionate relationship, and you might have a passionate relationship with this person, okay? You might marry with this person. And this relationship, I would say that part of this relationship is to help you make the right choices. To be with this person, or this person to be with you, is to help you both to make the right choices, not just in terms of love, but in everything connected with your life. Now, the past influencing the present and the future, you have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands speaks of conflict, so there was conflict in the past. And because I'm seeing like the volcano erupting, you might have had relationships with other people with whom you had conflict, maybe other people who were very aggressive to you, or you yourself might have been aggressive to other people. I would say maybe the other person or other potential, you know, lovers or boyfriends or girlfriends or spouses in the past, I would say they probably were more aggressive to you. Plus, I'm seeing the Five of Wands. Wands connects with fire, like the King of Wands. So it is possible that for some of you, you might have had a relationship in the past with a fire sign, a Leo, a Sagittarius, or a Aries. Okay, and it was a very conflict-ridden sort of relationship, and you felt that you needed to protect yourself, and the other person was always erupting with anger. So right now you want to have a passionate relationship, but at the same time you want to be rational, choosing the person to be with next, and you know, it's like development of rationality by being with your romantic soulmate. So you might have had relationships in the past that were, you know, full of conflict all the time and didn't work out, or your romantic soulmate might have had in the past relationship love relationships with people that either were full of anger, or when he or she was with this other person, there was nothing but conflict. There's like an element of like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of these types of relationships where people have these arguments and no one speaks in a diplomatic way, no one speaks in a rational way. Okay, so you want to move away from that type of behavior where people speak in anger. You want and say horrible things to each other, and you want to move away from that. Your soulmate wants to move away from that, and you want to speak in a logical way. You want to have reasonable arguments. Let's say you want to have reasonable arguments with rationality and logic, and not anger. You don't want to go again to the anger type of behavior. Now, that which is in your mind, or that which you want, you have the Ten of Swords. You want a certain part of your life to end in terms of your love life. I'm sorry, I know that's not the Ten of Wands. It's the Ten of. I said Ten of Swords. No, it's the Ten of Wands. Okay. So there's a lot of fire in your reading. Either you seem to be attracted to people who have fire signs, and this could be Leo, like I said, Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. I would say maybe mostly Leo in the past, or you might have something in a fire sign yourself. So the Ten of Wands speaks of burdens. You tire of burdens in your love relationship. It's like in your love life, Taurus, there seems to be burdens upon burdens upon burdens, I would say. And you want to end that's what's in your mind. You want to end these burdens, where you feel that you have to make all the effort to keep the peace in a love relationship. And you tire of it, and you want to move on from that, I would say. Yeah, what else? Now, if this relates to the other person, to your romantic soulmate, your romantic soulmate might be someone who is burdened with a lot, to whom life has given many burdens, and he has a lot of responsibilities, and he has to deal with a lot of things. He or she, maybe work-wise, family-wise, there's a lot of burdens. This person is burdened by life, you know. So this might be these characteristics might be connected with your romantic soulmate. Now, the near future, and I don't know when the near future might be, or this might be, for instance, for those who don't yet know your romantic soulmate, this might pertain to the moment when you know him or her, and I don't know when that will be. This could be 10 years from now, this could be 3 months from now, I have no idea. If you don't know your soulmate, or if you already know your soulmate, even if you don't know that you know him or her, this card might pertain to the moment where you start to have a relationship with him or her, that first moment. Okay, so the Six of Wands speaks. There's a lot of wands in this reading. There's another wands. There's a lot of wands. There's a lot of fiery energy. So the Six of Wands might speak of a trip. Okay, you might be on a trip. So you might, during a trip, you might know him or her. And this could be any type of trip. You might, go on a vacation. You might go on a business trip. Right? Even if you don't want to go on a business trip, something connected with your company. And during that trip, you might know him or her. Or let's say that you don't go alone on this business trip, that you go with others. During that business trip, it might be that you connect with this person who will turn out to be your romantic soulmate. So it could be that. This could be also, this is a success card, this is a victory card, the Six of Wands. When there's some sort of victory in your life, And this victory can pertain to your professional life, for instance. When there's even like a court victory, if there's like a court victory within that time period, and I don't know when this will be, this is the moment when you either meet your soulmate or when you connect with your soulmate, even if if you already know who, if that person is already within your vicinity, let's say. Another thing that I didn't mention before, pertaining to the past, there's like the Five of Wands. This might pertain to possible past lives. Let's say that your soulmate, your romantic soulmate, is someone with whom you already have a romantic relationship, and possible, for those who believe in that, past lives. Okay? So, that relationship that you already had with the same person was full with conflict, and maybe I'm thinking Hawaii. Maybe you had already a relationship with him or her when both of you lived in Hawaii, or like in an island populated with volcanoes. Okay, it's like an island and you might have had dark skin. So maybe in the past you already had a relationship with him or her in an island that had volcanoes, active volcanoes, a very difficult type of relationship, and maybe you had dark skin, or him or her had dark skin, or both of you had dark skin, and one of you protected himself or herself of this conflict, tried to protect himself or herself. I would say maybe more you, but not necessarily. It could have been the other person as well. So maybe in the past you already had a relationship, a love relationship, and it wasn't very good. And this time around, you need to correct the way you behave with each other. Okay? You can still be passionate about each other, but you need to make better choices. And the way to make better choices is to rely on rationality and to detach yourself emotionally, because when you connect emotionally, you connect more to anger and to rage, and you need to disconnect from that. Okay? Now the next card represents you, or it symbolizes you, Taurus, and you have the Death card. Relax, no one is dying. Okay? This is the Phoenix rising from the ashes. And here there's the volcano, which is in the past. The volcano that, and the phoenix rises, from fire. So this could be potentially the same person, a person with whom you already had a love relationship in the past, but now you have to redo it in a better way. It could be the same person. So this love relationship will completely transform you. It will allow you to rise from the ashes of your own life. It will completely transform the entirety of your life. He or she will represent a big transformation in your life, your romantic soulmate. What else? Now, don't be scared with the next with what I'm going to say next. It might be possible that you either meet this person or connect with this person when there's like a death in your environment. Around the time of an important death in your environment, this also might be the time in which you will either meet your romantic soulmate or you will connect with your romantic soulmate if this person is already in your vicinity. The next card represents other people, or how other people see you. So if this is others, this might be more connected. This might represent your soulmate, your romantic soulmate, and this is the Ten of Cups. Now the Ten of Cups speaks of a happy family life, of a happy home. It speaks of a happy family life. It's also being very happy. Like the most happy you can be is represented by the Ten of Cups. So this person might be naturally a very happy person, for instance, very joyous, or this person might be already married. I'm sorry to tell you. Okay? So maybe at the time you meet him or her, this person is already married. Okay? And the only way you're going to be with him or her is when there's a divorce, or if there's a death in his I'm sorry to say this, okay? If there's a death to his wife or husband, if his spouse or her spouse dies, I'm sorry, or when there's a divorce, then is the time that you will meet or connect with this person. But it seems like generally inside of him or her there's happiness. This person might already have kids also. Gives a lot of importance to family. This person gives, your romantic soulmate gives a lot of importance to family. Now, another way of reading this card is how people see you. I'm sorry. How people see you both, for instance, when you connect. When you connect, you might rapidly become a couple, and you might rapidly become, very happy. Like to the outside world, you seem to be a very happy couple. You could marry also. And there will be like extreme happiness when both of you marry. But again, you need to control the anger. If there's anger, you need to control it. And you need to be very rational in your approach together, as a couple and even as a family. You might even have children if that's the case. To other people, you might seem very happy and you might have children also. Okay, what else? And you might have animals also, You might like animals will be part of your family. Animals will be important for you both. You might even live by the sea, because by the sea or by the river or by a lake. You might live near water also. Or he or she might live near water right now. Now, the next card speaks of hopes, fears, wishes, and advice. And you have the Prince of Wands. You got a lot of wands. So, the Prince of Wands represents someone more or less in his 30s. Not necessarily. Could be someone older, but with a very youthful energy. Could be a man or a woman, because this is a very general reading. Again, there's the lion, there's the unicorn. From a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. I'm connecting more with Leo, but it could be Sagittarius or Aries. And this is a passionate person. This is a person that kind of goes after what he or she wants with great joy, enthusiasm, and passion. A very creative sort of guy or woman. Someone who's always on the go. This is like the very passionate Prince Charming, I would say. So you kind of you hope for someone like this to happen in your life, to appear in your life. But this type of energy is not. It's like someone who comes in and just elates you. I don't know if that's the proper way of saying it, but someone who swoops you off your feet, but doesn't stay. Okay, you kind of. This is what you want. You want someone to make like a dramatic gesture and to be very romantic and just be very passionate and even theatrical like. But at the same time, what you fear is that this person behaving like this doesn't stick around and just leaves. This is what you fear, I would say. You're afraid of if someone behaves like this person is just a conqueror, and then after having conquered you, he or she just leaves. The advice, what would the advice be? The advice would be not to be afraid of this type of energy, of this type of conquering type of energy, of, you know, if someone shows up like this, it does not, who behaves like this, it does not necessarily mean that he or she will leave, okay? If someone just shows up and does this dramatic type of gestures, you know, I really like you, and, you know, something dramatic and theatrical like, that involves horses, I don't know. Just don't be afraid of it. Just live it with joy, you know. Be joyful. Be joyful. If you're joyful, also you will attract. You'll easily attract, not easily, but faster. You will attract faster your romantic soulmate. So, this as an advice in terms of your soulmate: do things that you like to do just for the fun of it. You know, if you do things that you like to do because they are joyful to you, because they fill you with enthusiasm, whatever they are, you'll be happier. By being happier, you'll attract this person. This person, your soulmate, your romantic soulmate, will come faster into your life, or you might meet him or her in one of those activities. This could also be traveling. While traveling, you might meet him or her. And this tells me the same. The Six of Wands also speaks of traveling. So you might meet him or her if you travel. If you travel for Greece, you know, for any shiny place that has sun. Okay, if that has sun, let's say what else it can have. A forest, sun and forests. Any shiny place, any shiny country, any shiny city. If you travel to those places, you know, and as vacation, just to have fun, you might meet him or her there. You might encounter your soulmate there. And do things that you like to do. If you wanna go horseback riding, do that. If you wanna go bungee jumping, do that. You know, whatever. If you like speed, I don't know, something which is like fast, do that. Again, with caution, but, you know, do something that fills you with joy. Almost makes you feel like a young kid again. Now, the outcome, you have the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords speaks of indecision. So when you encounter your soulmate, or when you are with him or her, you might have some sort of indecision if you want to stay with him or her. Or it is your soulmate who has indecision. Might not be. He or she needs to think for a while before committing to you. Okay? I'm not saying that he or she is not committing to you. It's just it might take a while until this commitment happens. Now let's see what I see here. I see two women. Both have the eyes closed. Okay. And there's the ravens. I think ravens or crows. So you need to think. Either the other person needs to think and to ponder, or you need to think. Another way of reading these cards, this card, the Two of Swords, is that there might be two people. So I'm going to go back to the idea that maybe he is already married. And what he needs to think about is, should I divorce? He or she, whatever, your soulmate needs to think, should I divorce in order to be with you, Taurus? Or it could be you. You are already married, and maybe you might even have a good relationship, or at least from the outside it seems like a good relationship, but this relationship could be could be very conflict. There's like lots and lots of conflict. You might be already married, but to the outside world it seems like you have the perfect life, the perfect spouse, the perfect children, but there's a lot of conflict and you need to protect yourself. And either there's like a big transformation, in your own life that leaves you free to be with this person, with your romantic soulmate, or you need to think that if you want to divorce or not and be with your romantic soulmate. It's like there's two people, maybe there's two women, the other person met you and will meet you and want to be with you, but maybe he or she is already married. So your romantic soulmate needs to think before committing. Okay? Okay, so needs to, there's like a pause. Now if it might be, I'm not saying that you will not be together, okay? I'm not saying that, but it might take a while, okay? So now the three cards that I've showed you, I'm going to tell you again. If you picked the garden card, it means that between 80 and 90% of this reading applies to you. If you picked the house card, it means that between 40 and 50% of this reading is relevant to you. And finally, if you picked the man card, it means that between 10 and 20% of this reading applies directly to you. Okay? Again, if you'd like your own personal consultation, please write to dunyazade@gmail.com, and I'd be delighted to work with you. Bye bye.